Hi, we're in Atlanta for the third Facebook Yell event, and I'm here with some students from Atlanta. I'm going to have them introduce themselves, and then we're going to do a short roundtable, and we're going to hear about their schools. They're from 3 different schools, and so you're going to get to hear some different perspectives and see the diversity of schools that Atlanta has. So we're going to start, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So everybody speak up. There's no rules in these roundtable discussions. We just want to hear from you and hear about your lives and your school.
Hey, I'm Zacchaeus Murray. I'm 16 years old, and I go to Frederick Douglass High School, close to downtown Atlanta, you could say.
Cool.
Hey, my name is Ethan Davey. I'm a senior at the New School.
My name is Jabari Holmes, and I am a 7th grader at Campbell Middle School in Smyrna, Georgia.
Hey guys, my name is Lisette. I'm 14, and I'm an 8th grader in Campbell Middle School.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to start with my question that I ask at every roundtable, and that is, tell me something about your school that your teachers and administrators do not know. Something they don't know that happens in your school, or about your climate, or something they don't know.
Or I would say that we sell things. I'm gonna say that like we sell candy, Snickers, all that, and they never know about it because
At the end of the day,
So you have a black market.
yeah, and they don't know because we're like too fast for them. They don't know.
That's awesome. All right. What about the New School or Frederick Douglass? Is there something that goes on that the administrators don't know?
I mean, the teachers know everything about the school. They know more than we do sometimes. Not really nothing I could. Well, let's see. Let's think. Can you come back to me because I gotta think.
Okay. New School.
So the New School is also a challenge because it is a school of 52 children. So it is a very close-knit community between the students and the teachers. The one thing I would say that they don't know, or at least it's very low on their radar, is because the New School is such a project-based school that's a lot more focused on the idea of doing things than testing, is I feel like sometimes the students who really focus on the testing feel that their opinions are unvalued. And yeah.
Okay. What about Campbell, before we go back to Project Douglass? Tell me a bit about Campbell. So we just heard the New School's project-based.
Campbell, you go first.
Okay, Campbell is the only public IB school, and it's a really good school. Like, I really like it. I really like the program and everything they do.
Well, I would say Campbell have a lot of clubs, and like it welcomes you to all different types of things, and we're a very diverse school. We got so many different clubs for people, and we appreciate any different like diverse or country.
Okay, so your school respects diversity.
Yes.
And you said they're an IB school?
Yes.
So you have the
Top county.
middle IB. That's awesome. Okay, are you ready to talk about Frederick Douglass and tell the audience a little bit about Frederick Douglass?
Sometimes the teachers think that the students just don't try, but sometimes you can honestly say that maybe the teachers need to reform sometimes on their teaching styles. Some teachers, not all, because if the whole class fails a quiz, it's not the students, it's the teacher. That's all.
Okay, so I want to reflect on that a little bit, and maybe I'd like to hear your perspective, having been in 2 different environments. So this is something that comes up a lot, and I know I experienced, when everybody in a class fails a test, and the teacher sometimes, they blame, like, well, why didn't you guys pay attention? But obviously there's a problem if everybody failed. Have you guys experienced that? Do you feel like the things that you're learning are translated in the way that you are assessed?
Okay, sometimes I think like teachers are too busy worrying about like what they just ready to get out of school, ready for school to be over with, and they don't care to a point. And then when they give us tests, and they get surprised when we fail, when they don't teach us anything in the school. Like if they're gonna tell us to do something and they don't teach us right, and then we fail a test, I mean, I don't think they should be surprised if they didn't like help us or nothing.
So do you feel like your content always so like the things that you're learning in class, are those the things that are showing up on tests?
Yes, but most of them, like we gotta take different tests for advanced grades, no. But anything else else, any tests we take, yes.
What about you? Now that you went to a more traditional school, I assume, and then now you're in a project-based learning. So is the way that you're being assessed in the two environments, are they different?
Yeah, I'd say it is very different. There's a big practice in schools going around, which is like this idea of, as opposed to just measuring on these metrics, it's like, well, is the student improving? Which I think is a huge thing that schools should be looking at, because you can take a school that already takes really like highly educated people and brings them a little higher, as opposed to a school that just takes students who really have a lower level of education and really increases them, but they may not be as much as the high leveler increase. And basically, I think with this school, it really is based on how much effort is the student putting into this, how much are we seeing them improving, as opposed to strictly grades measured, are you just achieving these metrics that we have set out in our Common Core that we want you to achieve. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so have you found that you like that? I mean, does everybody like that way better? It's obviously more work.
So not everybody likes it way better, actually, which is something I never expected as a student. I have a close friend at my school who really kind of found his niche in the public school system of, okay, if I just study this way for a test, get that done, then I can go off and do whatever I want in my free time, whereas this school expects a lot more out of you. They don't give you as much busy work, but they really want you to go after projects and pursue things in your free time. And they will really like kind of go after students and say like, hey, you aren't really doing so much with all this time we're giving you and stuff, and we know that you can do better, so why is that? And he feels really kind of targeted in that way when he's like, the thing that I have always focused on is the test. I learned this is a very specific conversation he told me about. I learned how to basically play the SATs game, get that all done, and I expected I was done because that's how I was going to get into college. And now they're calling on me to do other things where it's like being really creative with design and stuff, and that's not the thing that I am interested in. I have just this specific thing of I want to get the grades, get into college, get out, whereas this school is really different. And it's kind of an interesting line to walk, whereas it's like, well, should he be going to a school like this? But I hope everybody can go to a school like this, and I hope he'd want to go to a school where he's pushed to be his best possible self. But anyway, it's just very different.
Okay. What about do you feel like the things that you're learning in school are translating to life beyond the walls of Frederick Douglass?
Yes and no. Some stuff we learn, like, I'm like, if I go in this field, I'm gonna definitely need this, but like stoichiometry, that's not necessary. I hate stoichiometry. That's not necessary at all. Oh, y'all gonna see a lot of that.
You'll see chemistry.
You'll see that. It gets hard when the math comes in, but the part about my school, I feel like it doesn't. Sometimes people think it depends on the school that you go to build you up, and I don't think that. I think it depends on how motivated the student is, because if I come from a horrible school and I'm already doing something, my school, y'all, I already told y'all about my school, it's not that good, but like we working back up to having a strong legacy. And then like this summer, I'm going to Emory, a summer program. They called me over there, and like they're gonna pay me at the end stipends. Stipend like $1,300, something like that. But they're gonna pay me to come over there and basically just go to school. When you got people that goes to North Atlanta High School and like they just go to school and come home and do homework. But I feel like it's a lot of schools, it's benefits of my school and it's benefits of other high up schools. A benefit of my school that it's easy to stick out to everybody else. It's very easy to stick out. It's not, you don't have to put in that much work. I came there with my GPA, it dropped. I was mad when I first got there because this will happen. I came there and my GPA was 93, I want to say. At one point, before they got my transcript from my old school, it was a 4.1.
So when did you move schools? At what age? Or like
I moved second semester of 9th grade, and I actually came from one of the top schools in Georgia, Westlake. Westlake is known for its academics and all that. But like for me to come to my school and still be doing good, that says it doesn't depend on the school. It just depends on the student and how motivated the student is to learn. And I want to tell y'all some advice. I want the middle schools. I gotta tell y'all something because
You're gonna share some advice with our friends from Campbell Middle.
This. In high school, you're gonna go there with your friends, and some people gonna move, some people gonna go. Some of your friends, like, it's not like y'all gonna not be friends anymore. It's just like y'all gonna barely see each other. Y'all gonna stop talking as much as y'all do. You're gonna have new friends. It's gonna be a lot of drama, and y'all think the classes are hard now. If y'all go to high school and y'all don't be like the other freshmen, because this is the freshman mentality. Do not go there and do not play lollygag. Oh, I'm in high school now, it's so funny. I did that and it was awful. Do not do that. When you go, you're going to just be dedicated, pay attention in class, go be to class on times. You want to stand out to the teachers, but not your classmates, if you know what I mean. Don't try to be the class clown. Just stand out to your teachers, and as long as they see you trying, you'll pass.
What about you? What were you gonna add?
One thing. Well, I do agree. If you go to a school, it can definitely, if you are a student, it's going to be a motivation thing. But I definitely think with a lot of the schools with more resources, they have teachers who are going to be willing to motivate and put in the effort to motivate their students and see that a student is falling behind and say, hey, maybe they need some help or maybe they need some motivation. Reimagine ATL, you guys talked about how their founder, one of the other students in Reimagine ATL talked about how the founder specifically picked her up and said, hey, if you want to take a look at this. Obviously she did all the work for Reimagine ATL by herself, and that's incredible. But I feel like it really takes that spark from sometimes like a founder or a teacher who really cares. And I think at some of the schools with more resources, sometimes there ends up being a lot of teachers who are really trying to push their students and stuff. And I think sometimes some schools get left behind in that aspect.
So let's hear about Campbell Middle. We do this great activity here, and y'all all got to experience it, where a climate walkthrough, where they ask you things to start thinking about what your school feels like when you walk in. What does Campbell Middle School feel like? How do students feel being there?
You want to answer that?
You it is.
All right. Okay. So it depends. Like if you're a car rider, it's gonna be quiet. It's gonna be chill. But when you get to the cafeteria, it's still gonna be quiet. But see, if you're a bus rider, it's gonna be loud, crowded. People gonna be falling and everything. But see, like it's the difference. Cause see, you can tell when a bus, when buses get here, it'll be quiet, and then you just hear. And that's the doors opening, and then you just hear a whole bunch of kids screaming. You don't even know what it is till you see all the bus riders. That's when it get loud. So the environment, it's 50-50. Sometimes you feel good when you walk in, other time you feel bad. It's just depending on your day.
What do you think about the way people feel being at school?
As he said, when you walk through the doors in Campbell, it's super loud. But then just when you walk through the hallways, it's when you see different kids. You see kids lonely and just going straight to class, or you just see a group of friends just chilling there or going to the restroom and try to act cool. It's one thing I don't like about kids nowadays in middle school is that they try, I get it, they want to try to fit in and be someone they're really not, but they're doing something to themselves, like they're lying to fit in, and they don't act like they try to impress somebody. So you're supposed to be mature, you're supposed to get to that stage where you mature and everything. And I know there's 6th and 7th graders and even 8th graders get on my nerves too. But I just want them to act like their age, and I want them to understand that they don't have to do anything to impress somebody, just be themselves. And that's one thing that middle schoolers are getting in that environment, is that they want to fit in so bad.
So there's still social issues, even in the best school. You can't always.
Yeah, it's always gonna be that one negative person that's gonna try to bring it.
Yeah, I agree with you, because when I got in high school, when I was in 8th grade, I was like, what is these 6th and 7th graders doing? They just acting like they don't got no sense. Then when I get in 9th grade, it's like the people who were saying that with me, they start acting like the 7th and 6th and 7th graders. It's like, y'all were just sitting here last year talking about how they act like they don't got control, But then now when y'all freshmen in high school, y'all don't got control because the freshman class of high school is always the biggest.
Yeah.
And I guess they try to make themselves known, try to book back because a lot of freshmen when I was in middle school, they told me high school gonna be bad. They're gonna do freshman pranks. They're gonna prank y'all. They're gonna throw balloons with bleach on y'all. They did that before, but they didn't do it to the freshmen. They did it to everybody.
Okay. Did everybody get? Yeah, don't worry. High school's not that bad. But I do want to ask one final question because we're getting ready to start wrapping up. Let me ask one last question that I like to ask everybody. If you could have one thing in your dream school, anything, what would be the one thing you would have if you were to design your own school? What would be the one thing you would be sure to include? And everybody, I want a great answer.
I would do is like if a student, I would always have rehabilitation, I guess that's the word, rehabilitation and amnesty weeks throughout the semester because a lot of times teachers forget that students have 7 other teachers to go to. And they want to give us all this work, like we don't have no life at home, like we don't have all these other teachers. So I would do like 2 weeks at the most when like students can turn in old work, get old work done to help bring up their grades, and they can retake tests, like some quizzes, because some teachers just like to barely teach a subject and give a quiz the Friday or something. They always like to give quiz Friday. I don't know why, but I would like to just implement that because like high school is it just ruins your life. It just sucks the fun out of your life, and I can honestly stand by that.
Your dream school.
Do you want it to be something that my school already has or something?
No, it could be anything.
Okay, in that case, really good student-teacher relationships and student involvement, I think, is a key aspect of what has made the new school so great for me. The ability to really help to change my school and affect where it goes and kind of help chart my own school's course has really made me feel like I have a voice in high school, which has inspired me to do a lot of things differently than when I was a lot more reserved just in the public school system.
Awesome.
One thing that I say a class pet. The reason why I say that, because like when you got that feeling that like it's like somebody who you like, if you got a bunny or whatever in your classroom, you feel like you can take care of it or whatever, it lightens up your day. Like if you feel like I want to do this or whatever, it like helps you, and it's like I think that'll build up a teacher-student relationship on how like the teacher teaches them how to take care of a bunny or whatever. That's why I say a class pet.
Class pets for everyone.
Yeah.
I support that.
Okay, I'd say compassion because, there's a lot of stuff right now that's not that, good. And so it affects a lot of students in school. And I just want to know that there are students that are willing to be there for each other and are going to love one another. And just like know that they could do anything even though all this is going on. So I'd say compassion.
Thank you all for joining me. You all are really incredible, and I can't wait to hear what you come up with. Everybody here is creating a action plan to help fix their school climate, do a project that will make their school a better place. So they're going to be sharing those out over the coming weeks. I guess where school's about over, but a lot of them will be continuing to do this in the fall. And so thank you all for joining us and chatting with us, and I hope you have an awesome day, and thanks for sharing.